Thanks for tuning in. Ham Talk Live will be on the air shortly. Please stand by. Thanks for tuning in. Ham Talk Live will be on the air shortly. Please stand by. This episode of Ham Talk Live is brought to you by Tower Electronics. For connectors, cables, and more, call 920-435-2973 or visit pl-259.com. And by ICOM. Heard it? Worked it? Logged it. Visit www.icomamerica.com/amateur for more information about ICOM radios.
It's Ham Radio with Neil Rapp. Here we go. Welcome to Ham Talk Live. Call in, let's talk. Neil's your guy. Ham Talk Live. Here we go on Ham Talk Radio.
Hey, good evening, everyone. It's Ham Talk Live, episode number 204. Virtual club meetings for social distancing. Recorded live on Thursday, March 19th, 2020. I'm your host, Neil Rapp, WB9VPG. Thanks for tuning in to this episode of Ham Talk Live. Tonight we're joined by Matt Bonadies, KB9YOJ, and we'll take your calls live here in just a few minutes. Last week here on the show, Brian Taraskal, KG5HVO, and Marty Soloway, NN1C, were here to talk about Team Exuberance CW. If you missed that show, you can listen anytime over at hamtalklive.com or on your favorite podcast app or on YouTube. And, of course, you can catch the rebroadcast of Ham Talk Live on WTWW. That's 5085 AM, Saturday evenings at about 6:30 p.m. Eastern Time each week. So get your questions ready to go about hosting your club meeting online during all this social distancing going on. If you're listening to us live on Thursday night, you can give us a call after the interview. Let me go ahead and give you the phone number so you have that handy and ready to go when it is time to call. It's not time to call just yet, but we will take your calls after the second break here at 859-982-7373. Again, that's 859-982-7373. You can also send your questions on Twitter. It's at Ham Talk Live on Twitter. So we'll be checking that throughout the evening. So I'll be back with Matt right after this word from Tower Electronics right here on Ham Talk Live.
Thanks for choosing Tower Electronics. How may we help you today? We have PL259s, we have in connectors, we have SMA adapters, we have BNC adapters. What can I show you today?
Where's the tower?
Well, we don't actually have a tower with us, but we have all kinds of things you can use with a tower. We have power poles, antennas, soldering irons, and meters.
Where's the tower?
Ma'am, that's the name of our company. We can't haul towers to all the hamfests across the country that we visit, but we have almost every connector and adapter you would need to connect your antenna that's on your tower.
I don't think there's a tower back there. I really don't.
Tower Electronics. Visit us at a hamfest near you or call 920-435-2973 or see our whole catalog at pl-259.com. Sorry, one thing we don't have is a tower.
It's not the amount of power, it's the size of our tower. Ham Talk Live.
Thanks to Scott and Jill at Tower Electronics for sponsoring the show once again tonight to help bring you Ham Talk Live. Well, their Hamfest schedule is in total chaos at the moment. Right now, they're scheduled to be in Staunton, Wisconsin. That's outside of Madison on April 18th. But you want to check the Hamfest cancellations and see if that's still on after they get a little time to figure out what in the world's going on around here. So they may or may not be there, but you can find Tower Electronics at one place 24/7, coronavirus or not. It's pl-259.com. Again, pl-259.com is the best way to visit Tower Electronics. While all this social distancing stuff is going on, and which is what we're talking about tonight. And my guest tonight is Matt Bonadies, KB9YOJ. He lives in Ellettsville, Indiana, and is a wireless network engineer for Indiana University. He is the president and founder of the Southern Indiana Amateur Radio Association. Matt's interests include DX, APRS, PSK31, Arden Mesh Networks, VHF digital modes, and rag chewing. He is the proud father of 2 harmonics and an avid fisherman. So, Matt, welcome to Ham Talk Live.
Hi, Neil. Glad to be here tonight.
Well, this whole social distancing thing is something that's created a lot of changes and a lot of chaos out there, and I think we're all sick of hearing about it. But every day there's more and more restrictions that are put on everyday life, and it's important that we find a way to connect with each other without spreading this virus, and ham radio is one way to do that, because the virus doesn't go through the ionosphere. So,
right.
So, or at least that we know of. Now, if that happens, we're in big trouble. But there's some ways to kind of connect with each other and still have some social interaction without the, physical connection. And that's what we're going to talk about tonight. And you were one of the first. I know there are many others that are doing the same thing now. And we'll talk about a couple of those here in a little bit. But with the Southern Indiana Amateur Radio Association, or SIARA, you made a call to cancel all club activities and all the get-togethers and everything. Mm-hmm. And then you came up with an idea of what could take the place of some of that. So tell us a little bit about that decision to cancel the in-person meetings and doing a virtual club meeting.
Sure. Well, along with everyone, we were paying attention to what was going around in the world, and just trying to keep abreast of the situation locally. And I get a lot of feedback and information updates through work. We're always being prompted from emergency coordinators on the situation, and I just felt like it was kind of escalating to a point where I felt it was necessary to stop the meetings face to face. But I didn't want to just completely end the meetings when we have powerful technology like Skype, or what we use is Zoom, and and try to provide a face-to-face meeting option for members and local hams, but still give it kind of a ham radio twist. In Bloomington, for the last 40 years, we've been able to utilize a really great VHF Aries repeater that's owned and operated by the Monroe County Repeater Association. It's really the main frequency that everyone uses around here. And my thought was to do a Zoom meeting and give people an opportunity to see each other, but use the repeater just for audio, and then kind of format it as a net.
So this gathering online and on the repeater is going to take the place of some of the club meeting stuff. And
That's
so
right.
why did you go to the video conferencing along with the local repeater? Why are you tying the video with the repeater audio?
Well, it's kind of a psychological thing, as well as being able to play with radio at the same time. So we'll be able to see each other. However, we won't be able to be in the same room together, but we'll still be able to see each other on the screen, see what we look like, make sure you get that almost, it's a closer connection than just two-way radio. So we'll have just an opportunity to see each other when we all feel isolated. SIARA in the past, we've only been a club for just under 2 years now. But since the beginning of our club, we've used this method for just regular club meetings. We hosted Bob Heil and Ward Silver online. They couldn't, it was a lot easier for those guys to call in from wherever they were to our meetings and then present to us. Nobody had to travel anyway, so there was a little bit of cost savings in it. Plus, we got a chance to talk to these really great guys in the hobby, influential guys. Plus, it kind of dawned on me. I was like, hey, this is like fast scan TV, but without the video equipment. So put all that together. We'll get to do something different. It'll give the members a bit of a challenge to navigate the technology online by using the video, along with throwing in a VHF radio net in the mix. So just something a little different.
So what gave you the idea of doing this? How did that happen?
Necessity. I didn't want to quit. I really didn't want to quit the meetings completely. I felt bad about the situation, and I said, we can be flexible here. We're going to adjust. We're going to write it out and do this for the next few months until people do what we need to do to take care of the COVID-19 outbreak. We're still going to be able to be social. So that's the main part, is still getting on the radio to use our frequencies, which are always under threat, and utilize the technology that we have at our fingertips. I mean, we can do this on our iPhone if we want to. The app is free. You just need an internet connection to download it, and boom, you're on. So, the flexibility, doing something useful, helping each other out if we can, and just taking our mind off of the incredible situation that's unfolding right now.
Yeah, the social distancing is no stranger to ham radio operators, because a lot of times we're talking to people around the world that we'll never meet and never see.
Right.
And so the Zoom video kind of adds that visual component. It's not the same as in person, but it does make a closer connection.
Mm-hmm. I agree. It should just help to do something different. So that's really what I want to stress. Doing something different, something that hasn't been done yet in this area, at least. And maybe this is how we do ham radio meetings from now on. I don't know. We'll see. This is kind of an experiment for us right now, just to try it for fun, see how we like it, make adjustments, and do something a little bit different than, rather than the classic ham radio meeting.
So this is an idea that that any ham radio club out there, any local club, any or regional or national for that matter, can do. So I know the first one's actually tomorrow, so we'll give it a shot tomorrow. But any advice for setting this up and having other clubs around the country or the world do this?
I guess the advice I could give, however, I haven't done the net yet, is to just give it a shot. See what you like about it, what you don't like about it. If it's not what the club wants to do, let them decide on the format, or just do it totally online, or just take your meeting to a VHF repeater. It can be a simplex net. Meeting in person is part of the fun of ham radio, but using the radio is why we do the hobby. So, just give it a shot, try it out, and see if it works for you. If it doesn't, adjust and make it so it's fun.
Yeah, I think anything that we can do to not feel quite so isolated while we're in isolation is a good thing. And I think that's something that a lot of clubs are going to have to look at. And you work at Indiana University. I'm a high school teacher. We both know that, suddenly the education world has had to be totally online, and online education is not something that's new, but it's new for a majority of full-time teachers and professors. And it's really upended the way classes are held. And there's even discussion, within the ham radio world of testing, and will there be remote testing opportunities, and how are we going to deal with that? And that's a whole nother subject for a whole nother night. But there's all of a sudden this big switch over to having to do things virtually or not at all. And like you said, it was out of necessity.
Yeah.
Necessity often inspires all kinds of creative solutions, and this is one of them. Yeah.
Yeah, and necessity, trying to be positive about it. Make. I keep saying, when life gives you lemons, make lemonade. So this is our lemonade moment, I guess, for the ham radio club leadership around the country and the world. This is a world issue right now. And we can take advice as ham radio club leaders from educators, who have been doing this, maybe more practiced at it. How to get groups together to pay attention, to be interactive, and try to continue on with a club that is all of a sudden virtual.
Now, Zoom is a free membership. You can sign up for free to host. You do have to have a paid account if you have more than 3 people and it goes over 40 minutes. So there is that time limit there that is imposed, but you can still do a typical net is supposed to be 15 minutes. This will probably be longer than that because it's more of a meeting than an official net. But you can do that if you don't have the facilities to do that. I had hoped to have a little more information tonight, but in the Newsline chat today, Karen Eve Murray, our editor, KD2GUT, was talking about her club at Great South Bay Amateur Radio Club in New York was having their club meetings totally on Zoom, and that ARRL had some kind of provision for affiliated clubs to get the Zoom membership. So I did not have a chance. Yeah, I didn't either. And I have not had a chance. And let me totally emphasize this before thousands of people start calling up ARRL headquarters and saying, "Hey, can we get the?" I have not had a chance to get all the details on that and verify everything. So you may want to be on the lookout for that. Please don't flood ARRL with phone calls and emails saying, "Hey, I heard that you have this," because I haven't been able to verify it. But she was mentioning that she thought that they had some kind of Zoom account that was being able to be used for some club meetings, or at least for theirs. So
that's cool.
Again, please don't take that and run with it and go, "Oh my gosh, this is absolutely true," because I have not verified that. And normally, before I would introduce something like that, I would want to go out and verify it and make sure that everything is there. So please don't take that as absolute truth. But if that's the case, I mean, that's another way that you can do this and get past the 40 minutes, but you can get 40 minutes for free. So
sure.
That's another option.
And Zoom is just one option. There's other ways too. You could do a podcast of a meeting, sort of like the old Newsline, which is still going, but I remember listening to Newsline on repeaters 20 years ago. There's ways that you could do a pre-recorded meeting. You could just keep the meetings to the board, and then the members can tune in over online or get an email about it. So there's many ways to do this. This is just my version of trying to adjust as we start navigating through what we need to do in the next couple months.
And I've actually heard from a couple of people who have already participated in a couple of these kinds of things. I don't know that it was quite the way that SIARA is doing it, but they said, we didn't have some of these problems that we normally have in our in-person meetings, and so they were all on board. They kind of liked the change up and felt like that they were a little more efficient and didn't have some of the issues that they normally do. So there are pros and cons to this. Obviously, it's not going to have the connection that an in-person meeting would have. But for the time being, when we're supposed to maintain our social distance, which, by the way, Julie and I have decided that that's probably going to be the phrase of the year for 2020, social distancing.
Of course.
But when you have to do that, it creates a way to try something new and try something different and give it a shot. And so, I would encourage clubs out there to give this a try, because this is a way that you can do it. And the way SIARA's doing it is, you're still using ham radio. It's just you're adding a video component to it that maybe, not everyone has fast scan television. But more people have a webcam. So
everybody carries one in their pocket.
It. Right.
Yeah.
So that's some good stuff. And one other thing I want to mention is because of all this virus and social distancing stuff, the HAMSI workshop that was supposed to be at the University of Scranton this weekend, in fact, tomorrow and Saturday, had to be canceled because of all of this. And quickly, Nathaniel and his bunch came up with a virtual option. So you can register and you can actually attend this conference on Zoom tomorrow, Friday, and Saturday. And you can attend virtually to the HAMSI conference, and that's kind of the cross between ham radio and citizen science. So there'll be a lot of scientific talks that involve ham radio. So if you want to check that out, go over to HAMSCI. That's HAMSCI.org, hamsci.org, and you can register. You do need to register still, but it's free, and you can participate in that from the University of Scranton, and Dr. Nathaniel Frissell, W2NAF, is hosting that. So another way that you can get some interaction with some hams, while you're cooped up at home. So just another way to do that. So what we want to do is we want to get your input and your questions and comments. So we're going to open up the phone lines here in just a couple of minutes at 859-982-7373. And we'll check the tweets and the chat and all that kind of stuff. And I'll be back with Matt right after this word from ICOM America right here on Ham Talk Live. Get out and be active with ICOM's new IC705 and its optional multifunction backpack. The IC705 is your perfect QRP companion, as you have base station features and functionality at the tip of your fingers in a portable package covering HF 6 meters, 2 meters, and 70 centimeters. This compact rig weighs in at 1 kilogram or just over 2 pounds, with RF direct sampling for most of the HF band and IF sampling for frequencies above 25 megahertz, and a large 4.3-inch color touchscreen with live band scope and waterfall. It runs 5 watts with a battery, 10 watts with a power supply. It has sideband, CW, AM, FM, and full D-Star functions, a micro USB connector, Bluetooth, wireless LAN, micro SD card slot, integrated GPS with antenna and GPS logger, and the speaker mic comes standard and supports QRP operations. The perfect accessory for your IC705 is the optional backpack, LC192, with a special compartment for your IC705 and room for accessories for soda activations or just a day in the park. Visit ICOMAmerica.com/amateur for more information about ICOM radios.
Join the conversation. Give us a call at 859-982-7373. Again, the number to call is 859-982-7373. Or, if you'd rather type than talk, tweet us at Ham Talk Live. Now, here's Neil Rapp with more Ham Talk Live.
Ham Talk Live with Neil Rapp.
ICOM America brings you Ham Talk Live every Thursday night at 9 p.m. Eastern Time, right here at hamtalklive.com, and be sure to check them out at icomamerica.com/amateur, and be sure to check out Ham Talk Live on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. So it's time for your calls now. If you have a question for Matt, give us a call right now. Now is the time. It's 859-982-7373. Again, 859-982-7373. You can also tweet us. It's at Ham Talk Live. If you're on Spreaker, you can type into the chat as well. I can pull that screen up here too. And if you have a question or a comment about the virtual ham radio meetings, ham radio club meetings, let us know. We want to hear from you at 859-982-7373 or on Twitter at Ham Talk Live. Well, Matt, while we're waiting to see if we have some questions and comments here from the Peanut Gallery, let's talk about the role of ham radio clubs a little bit. And I know that in founding the Southern Indiana Amateur Radio Association, there were some real goals that you had and the group had to really improve the club member experience. Can you talk a little bit about the role of ham radio clubs and ways that we can make those better? Sure.
Boy. Yeah, well, when we were founding the club, we really wanted to try to bring back the old hands-on feel to the ham radio club, where there are hands-on projects, getting out and putting up antennas, the classic sense of the Elmer, the person who guides you through the hobby. If you've got questions or a specific challenge that we might be able to help you out with, to try to be less of a social group and more of a techie, nerdy group. Kind of, ham radio is the original king of hobbies, right? And they were back in the early 1900s figuring all this stuff out. I wasn't trying to get that nostalgic about it, but we really felt that it was important to try to do more hands-on activities, and then link them in with all the newer stuff today, like Raspberry Pis, and lots of computer programming and newer applications that are online or something that you wouldn't have seen 30 years ago. There's ARIES and emergency communications as well. And then, bringing in computer networking along with some of the interests that I have. Of course, I'm for my profession is networking. But with one of the things that really kind of got me excited was Arden and mesh networking, and being able to bring computer applications to a network that's on ham radio allocations and the 2.4 gigahertz band that we can just play with and have fun with. So that was one of the main goals. It was just and then how do we attract younger members? We're still kind of trying to figure that stuff out. We're like I say to the guys, well, we're still new. We're a new club. We're only almost 2 years old, and we had a lot of lofty goals. We've got a pretty long list, and I think we're doing pretty good. We started out with Field Day. That was our first official kind of club get-together in 2018. Yeah. And boy, it was a lot of fun, and we just all had a great time. So, to try to bring the all the activities together with getting people together who are techie and nerdy rather than just cooking out on the grill or whatever. And all that stuff has its place. We like to do that too. We like to be social too, but we wanted to be more technical than anything.
Yeah, I think that, there's a competitive aspect, and I know, I'll get slammed for saying it's not a contest. But there is a competitive nature to it just because there's a score. And so, making sure that, the technical side is functioning and working well, and that you're able to, try to run the score up a little bit, it is a good option there. It definitely is a bit of an open house and a social thing, as the good folks at ARRL will tell you. And we are planning, by the way, our annual field day question and answer session with Paul Bork and the crew at ARRL. It's going to be a week earlier this year because we have something else planned for the Thursday before field day, hopefully, if the virus thing settles down. But we will have that here on Ham Talk Live, so you can ask your questions about it. But it was a chance to emphasize a little more about the technical side of things, and putting those antennas up in the event of an emergency, and how to get them not interfering with each other, and how you can link the logging computers together so that you can communicate between the different stations and all of those things.
Yeah.
It was a different take on that, and it was also a shared thing with the local school radio clubs, and just turned out to be a great event. Well, if you have a question or a comment, give us a call at 859-982-7373. We do have a tweet. You can tweet us as well. It's at Ham Talk Live on Twitter. And Jacob, KG7EQN, has been a frequent tweeter of late, and he has some questions for you, Matt. He says,
Okay.
Have your meeting times changed? How did you determine virtual meetings? Are you using the existing in-person time that you would normally have, for your meeting time? And wondered that with more people working from home, would it be better to change the time up a little bit? So can you address Jacob here?
Yeah. Okay, Jacob. Thanks for the question. Normally we would meet the third Friday in person at 6 p.m. Right after work. And I got to thinking about that. I'm like, we're all going to be at home relaxing. It's probably a little bit better to push it out a couple more hours. So yeah, I did change the time to 8 o'clock in the evening, when everybody's relaxed and maybe done with dinner and got off the air with another scheduled QSO or something. So we did change the meeting times. It was more my decision than anyone else's. I just thought 8 o'clock was a better time to do an evening net. The other nets in our local area here, they go anywhere from 7 to 8 o'clock in the evening when we do them here. So it's about the same time for other nets. So, I'll trying to gather other people's attention when they might be on the air after dinner. So hope that answers your question.
Yeah. So, I'm sure there's advantages to keeping it at the same time to keep people remembering, and on the schedule. But, I too think, that later is probably better, given the circumstances. So I think that's just something you may have to poll your members and poll your officers and see what you think would work. And part of this is adjusting and trying something new and make some adjustments to the norm, because we are definitely not in the norm right now. I've got 2 or 3 major events that are hanging by a thread right now, because we don't know if we're going to be able to have those in May and in June, and it's scary, to be quite honest. there's some major stuff going on, and Hamvention just announced this week finally that they're not going to be able to meet, and that's that's something I've looked forward to and attended for, oh my goodness, 25 years straight now, I think, and probably 30 or 35 in total. And it's a shame, because that's where you get to see a lot of the people that you talk to and work with in ham radio, and it's not going to be there. And some people have mentioned, maybe we ought to, get Dayton, the Dayton bunch, the idea of doing these virtual things, some of the forums and that kind of thing, that we could still do that weekend or whenever, to kind of get people together.
Yeah, and with the role of eBay and other sites that allow you to sell things online, maybe they could spin up a special Hamvention site for all the people that like to scrounge around in the piles of stuff outside. Just there's got to be a way to do it. And the time is now to think about what we can do to keep going, but yet still stay safe.
Yeah, and Troy W9KVR says, for the first time, I didn't have a track meet that weekend, and now there went Hamvention. So, yeah, Troy, we're going to get you there one of these days. I'm telling you. Well, 859-982-7373 is the number. Go ahead, Matt.
I was just going to mention I had the same sort of experience with a cancellation. I was scheduled to go to the largest, one of the largest international wireless network engineer conventions in Las Vegas at the end of next week, and I've been wanting to go ever since I started wireless engineering. It's been like 7 years, and I finally had the opportunity, and then it got canceled.
Yeah.
So maybe next year.
Yeah, it's a lot up in the air right now, and I heard, being the chemist, I as soon as I heard about chloroquine today, I was like, oh, I know that could work. So I'm holding out some hope that maybe that's going to be a big game changer. We will see before too long, but that could turn things around here. So hopefully this won't keep going on and on. So 859-982-7373. We're going to make this the final call. So if you want to give us a call, now is the time. 859-982-7373. Let me check the tweet machine here again and see if we have anything else. And I guess we'll go ahead and go through some of these. And Matt's probably already groaning that when I was on Twitter a while ago getting ready for the show, I saw one of the trending hashtags on Twitter was about social distancing, and it was social distancing pickup lines. So here's your social distancing humor for the day. If you're tired about hearing about all the closures and cancellations and everything, maybe this will bring a smile to you. So here's some social distancing pickup lines I saw. I wash my hands even when there's no pandemic. That might work. Baby, do you need toilet paper? Because I can be your Prince Charmin. Want to make plans we have to cancel? You smell so good. Is that Purell you're wearing? All right, one more. Without you in my life is as empty as the toilet paper shelf at the supermarket. Okay. Well, there you go. Social distancing pickup lines. I'm not sure those will work on the local repeater, though.
Yeah. Maybe we'll keep them
Probably
off the
not.
air.
Yeah, we won't get those on the air. We'll keep those over here on the internet and WTWW. So, well, Matt, thank you so much for coming on and talking about this, because I'm sure there's a lot of clubs out there that really, they've had to suddenly cancel everything and are really looking for a way to keep their members connected and offering some things about radio. And again, radio, is social distancing 24/7, and it's a way to connect people and without the risk. And so I thank you for coming on and talking about it and sharing
no
it.
problem.
And good luck with the net tomorrow night.
Yeah, thank you, and we'll keep you up to date.
Okay. Well, thank you so much. That is a wrap for this week's edition of Ham Talk Live. I'd like to thank my guest, Matt Bonadies, KB9YOJ from the Southern Indiana Amateur Radio Association, and everybody out there in cyberspace for listening and typing in, and invite you back next Thursday night, 9 p.m. Eastern Time. We'll still be here, so be sure to tune in. And for a list of all of our upcoming guests, go to hamtalklive.com. And if you like the show, please leave us a review. We'd really like to see some good reviews on iTunes or wherever you listen, because that just helps others find the show. So please do that if you can. So for now, this is Neil Rapp, WB9VPG, saying 7375, and may the good DX be yours.